conducting my master's program. So my thesis title is Variation of Sedimentary Biogenic Silica from the Gulf of Mexico during the Deepwater Horizon and IXTOC oil spill. So first of all, I will briefly talk about the information of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, ensuing MOSFET event, and sedimentary biogenic silica. So Deepwater Horizon oil spill happened in April 20th in 2010, and over the 87 days, so 210 million gallons of oil was discharged from the wellhead at 1,500 meter water depth. And also, 2.1 million gallons of oil dispergent was used during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And also, MOSFET event was observed during and after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. So now I will briefly talk about what is the MOSFET concept. So MOSFET is the marine oil snow sedimentation and flocculant accumulation event. So the MOSFET is observed during the Deepwater Horizon spill and after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. So there are three main components to happen MOSFET event, which are the oil and dispergent, river influence, and marine biota with the EPS. So after the blowout, the oil and dispergent flowed into the surface water, and the Mississippi River is the main source of the nutrient and clay-sized mineral in the northern Gulf of Mexico. So nutrient from the Mississippi River can fuel the phytoplankton blooms. And after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, the phytoplankton bloom was observed, especially diatom blooms. This is because diatom is the largest primary producer group in northern Gulf of Mexico. So my work is more focused on the diatom input of the surface water in association with the MOSFET event. And also, the increased population of the phytoplankton and heterotrophic consumer secrete more EPS, which is exopolymer substance, under the toxic stress of oil and dispergent. EPS is sticky material, so observing the surface-derived material and forming the marine oil snow. So increases surface-derived material such as zooplankton, phytoplankton, clay-sized mineral, dispergent, and petrogenic pyrogenic hydrocarbon are combining each other and forming the marine oil snow and move to the bottom really fast compared to normal marine snow. And this is concept and process of MOSFET event. And the MOSFET event also impacted to benthic fauna related to petroleum contamination and low oxygen condition. So this is consequence of the MOSFET event found in sediment. So we can see the darker layer on the top, 1 and 2 centimeter, and the sedimentation rate is increased up to 10 times in this layer. So now I will talk about sedimentary biogenic silica information. So sedimentary biogenic silica has been used as a proxy for primary productivity. And then why sedimentary biogenic silica can be used as a proxy for diatom production? The first answer can be the method of measuring sedimentary biogenic silica. So sedimentary biogenic silica can be measured by wet alkaline extraction method modified from the DMaster 1981, and I also used this method. So this method is only 2 days process, and it is easier, faster, and asking small sample size and standard method and providing quantitative results. And also, sedimentary biogenic silica can characterize the primary productivity. This is because diatom is the largest primary producer group in marine environment, including the Gulf of Mexico. So the variation of primary productivity is consistent with the variation of diatom production. And also, the primary sedimentary biogenic silica source is diatom prosto from the surface water, and the biogenic silica in sediment can be separated from the mineral-bound silica. So the sedimentary biogenic silica can be a proxy record of diatom and surface water primary productivity. And so I measured the sedimentary biogenic silica for this research. So sedimentary biogenic silica is expected to be an independent and corroborative proxy for the MOSPA. So this is main goal of my thesis. So first goal is answering this question. Can sedimentary biogenic silica be proxy for input of surface-derived material associated with MOSPA event? And second goal is comparing two oil spill with two systems, which are the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill in northern Gulf of Mexico and 1979 to 1980 IXTOC-I oil spill in southern Gulf of Mexico. So in this presentation, I will talk about two topics, which are chapter 2 and 3 in my thesis. So topic 1 is elevated rates of sedimentary biogenic silica deposition in the northern Gulf of Mexico. And topic 2 is the variation of sedimentary biogenic silica deposition in the southern Gulf of Mexico related to the IXTOC-I oil spill and other influences. So now I will present topic 1 first. So topic 1 is more focused on northern Gulf of Mexico and Deepwater Horizon oil spill. So research site of topic 1 is Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced area in the northern Gulf of Mexico. And I used 7 sediment core collected during the CME's cruise in 2010 to 12 and 2016. So as I said, Deepwater Horizon oil spill triggered the MOSPA event, and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and MOSPA event was observed by the previous study with various proxy. For example, PAH, which is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon and the toxic component of the petroleum, and DOS, which is a component of dispergent, and diatom frost caught by the sediment trap in the water column, and diatom 16 RNA, EPS, and pranctic and fancy foraminifera. So all of this study showing the altered value during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in associate with the MOSPA event. So this is main question of topic 1. So first question is, how does sedimentary biogenic silica vary after the oil spills? And second question is, sedimentary biogenic silica a proper indicator and independent corroborative proxy for MOSPA event in sediment records? So for question 1, I defined the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced layer by finding increased value of sedimentary biogenic silica contents. And its chronology is 2010 to 11, and it is matching with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and MOSPA event. And also previous study with different proxy records support this one, support the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and MOSPA, because the result of this study showing the altered value during the 2010 and 11. So this is result of sedimentary biogenic silica analysis. Sedimentary biogenic silica was increased 2 to 3 times in Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced layer, but it layer in the core from the DSH-08 and DWH-01 and the SW-01. But the NT1200 doesn't show the meaningful variation before and after Deepwater Horizon oil spill. This is because NT1200 site is located relatively far away from the wellhead. So I used NT1200 site as a control site in this study. So this is Deepwater Horizon oil spill influence layer, and this layer has a higher value of sedimentary biogenic silica contents, and the date is corresponding to 2010 to 11, and the profile of other proxy were also altered, and it is studied in previous study. So now I will compare with other proxy with the sedimentary biogenic silica profile. So how the oil and dispersion level was changed. The PAH is toxic component of petroleum, and thus is the component of the dispergent used during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And PAH and thus level was increased during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced period, and this is well matched with the sedimentary biogenic silica profile. And now I will compare the diatom indicator with the sedimentary biogenic silica. So the number of the diatom frostal caught by the sediment trap deploying at the water column was dramatically increased during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and recovered to baseline really fast after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And this is really well matched with the DSH-08 core from collected in 2010, because DSH-08 profile showed the decreased value after the huge increase after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced the layer. And also, diatom 16 RNA gene sequencing data also show the altered value during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced period. So the sedimentary biogenic silica and diatom frostal and diatom 16 RNA gene sequencing data indicate diatom blooms. And diatom blooms is known as related to amount of freshwater input. So now I will talk about other surface-derived inputs. So EPS is released by the phytoplankton and microbial communities under the toxic stress of the petroleum and dispersant. So EPS level is also increased during the EPS level is also increased at the Deepwater Horizon influenced layer, and this is well matched with sedimentary biogenic silica profile. And Planktiforaminifera is a consumer group in the northern Gulf of Mexico, and it is also increased during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced period. So based on the information what I talk, so potential causes of increases in sedimentary biogenic silica is expected to be a Deepwater Horizon oil spill and ensuing MOSPA event. This is because the increases in sedimentary biogenic silica are caused by the surface water diatom blooms, and dominant source of the sedimentary biogenic silica is diatom frostal from the surface water. And also the increase of primary and diatom production was found by the chlorophyll fluorescence anomalies and increased number of the diatom frostal caught by sediment trap. And also increase of the EPS and TEP act as glue for combining and absorbing particle and form the most marine oil snow. And clay-sized mineral attached in the marine oil snow make the marine oil snow sink faster. So consequently, surface water-derived biogenic silica can be more efficiently transported and accumulated to the seafloor, and the sedimentary biogenic silica can be increased in association with the MOSPA event. So it can be the answer for the question 1. So now I will talk about the preservation potential of the sedimentary biogenic silica. So I compare the two cores of each site collected in 2016 and 2010. Now, all profiles shows the increased value during the Deepwater Horizon influenced layer. But the chronology of the 2016 core is still developing now. So the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influence layer in the 2016 core is based on the sedimentary biogenic silica variation and information in the previous cores information. So in the case of the DSH-08, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influence layer was found at 6 to 10 millimeter in 2010 core and 10 to 16 millimeter in 2016 core. So the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced layer become broader in 2016. And depth of the peak become deeper in 2016 core, and the value of the peak become little lower in 2016, but it's still similar. In the case of SW01, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced layer was found at 2 millimeter to 6 millimeter in 2012 core and 4 to 10 millimeter in 2016 core. So it also become broader in 2016 core, and the depth of the peak become also deeper in 2016 core. And the peak value of the peak become really slightly higher in 2016 core, but it's still really similar. In the case of the WH01 core, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influence layer was found at 4 to 8 millimeter in 2011 core and 2 to 14 millimeter in 2016 core. So it became also broader in 2016 core. So depth of the peak also deeper in 2016 core, and the value of the peak become higher in 2016, but still similar each other. So consequently, the sedimentary biogenic silica of each core was preserved at similar value over 4 to 6 years, demonstrating the short-term preservation of Deepwater Horizon oil spill signal. So I will talk about the sedimentary biogenic silica can be a proxy as an oil spill and the MOSFET event or not, based on the integrative perspective of topic 1. So sedimentary biogenic silica variation is consistent with various proxy records supporting the MOSFET event during the 2010 to 11. So the sedimentary biogenic silica can be an additional and corroborative tool for measuring the proportion of surface-derived MOSFET material. And also, the increased sedimentary biogenic silica preserved in the 2016 core, so it supports the short-term preservation of the sedimentary biogenic silica and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill signal. And also, the D. Master et al. 1996 paper talk about the preservation efficiency of the sedimentary biogenic silica depending on the sedimentary biogenic silica accumulation rate. And in this study, the sedimentary biogenic silica accumulation rate vary the 1.5 to 6.3 gram per square centimeter per 1,000 year. And also, the Biddle et al. 2002 paper report the sedimentary biogenic silica was almost perfectly preserved under 5 Celsius degree. And the bottom water temperature of our research site was 3 to 5 Celsius degree. So it is expected that the sedimentary biogenic silica could be So I can say yes for the question 2. Is the sedimentary biogenic silica a proper indicator and independent corroborative proxy for the MOSFET event? So this is conclusion of the topic 1. So sedimentary biogenic silica increases by 2 to 3-fold associated with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, and sedimentary biogenic silica compares favorably with the other surface-derived indicator of MOSFET event. And sedimentary biogenic silica is effective tool to document the diatom inputs and provide an independent record of MOSFET event. So now I will present topic 2. So topic 2 is more focused on variation of sedimentary biogenic silica in the southern Gulf of Mexico related to anthropogenic influence such as dam construction and IXTOC-I oil spill. So research site of the topic 2 is IXTOC-I oil spill influenced the area, and I used 3 sediment core collected during the CME's cruise in 2015. So before I talk about discussion and result, I will briefly talk about the marine environment of the southern Gulf of Mexico and IXTOC-I oil spill. So first of all, primary productivity of southern Gulf of Mexico is controlled by more complicating system and many factors than northern Gulf of Mexico. So I will talk about factors which affect southern Gulf of Mexico's primary productivity. So first of all, Grijalba-Usumacinta river system and Popolo river system are primary source of nutrient and clay-sized mineral. And the surface water mass cover the continental shelf area, and outer shelf is well separated by the surface current. So loop current is dominate on the outer continental shelf, and wind-driven along coast current is flowing on the surface water on the continental shelf, and also direction of the all-along coast current is switching seasonally. So February to September, the all-along coast current direction is up coast, so it is east to west, and September to February, the down coast direction and up coast direction of the all-along coast currents is confluenced. So confluence of the all-along coast current create the cross-shape transport, and cross-shape transport is literally transport the water from the shelf area to outer shelf. And also because of the cross-shape transport, the nutrient and clay-sized mineral from the river can be transported to the outer shelf from the shelf area. And also high river discharge is happening in September to October, and in combination with the cross-shape transport and high river discharge cause the high primary productivity season in southern Gulf of Mexico, and it is September to December with a peak in the November. And also anthropogenic influence like IXTOC-I oil spill and dam construction also influence on the southern Gulf of Mexico's primary productivity. So IXTOC-I oil spill was happened in June in 1979 to April 1980. So over the 10 months, 130 million gallons of oil was discharged from the wellhead at 50-meter water depth. So this is main question of the topic 1. So first question is, how does sedimentary biogenic silica vary in the southern Gulf of Mexico? And second question is, does MOSPA occur after the IXTOC-I oil spill? To answer this question, I measured the sedimentary biogenic silica of core from southern Gulf of Mexico, and this is result. So each profiles are sublayered based on the sedimentary biogenic silica variation, and I put the standard deviation of background variation before the anthropogenic influence happening, such as dam construction and IXTOC-I oil spill. So this standard deviation can be helpful to compare the relative magnitude of the sedimentary biogenic silica caused by the anthropogenic influence. So each sublayer's chronology was checked, and based on this one, I talk about what events were happening during this period and how that event affect the sedimentary biogenic silica variation. So next, I will talk about the potential mechanism for the sedimentary biogenic silica variation. So the first mechanism for the variation of sedimentary biogenic silica is thought to be dam construction. So before the dam construction, the river discharge with the nutrient and clay-sized mineral was seasonally fluctuated. But after the dam construction, the river discharge with the nutrient and clay-sized mineral was stabilized. This is because the Mexico government constructed 4 dams on the Grijalva River system and 2 dams on the Papaloapan River system after the 1940s in order to control the flooding damage and generate the electricity. As the dam construction influence on the river discharge rate, so the river discharge rate and the nutrient input, so sedimentary biogenic silica and primary productivity in the southern Gulf of Mexico is also expected to be altered after the dam construction. And also the effect of the dam construction is applied differently depending on location. So I will talk about this. So west side of the river mouth during the season, not high river discharge and formation of cross-shape transport. It is January to September. The fresh water with the nutrient input become increased after the dam construction, and the net movement of water with the nutrient is east to west during this period. So the nutrient input to the west side of the Grijalva River mouth, west side of the river mouth become increased after the dam construction. So the primary production and sedimentary biogenic silica can be also increased after the dam construction. This phenomena is can be observed in the sedimentary biogenic silica profile. So IXW750A is located at the west side of the Grijava river mouth, and Angostura Dam was constructed on the Grijava River in 1969 to 1974, and it is corresponding to sedimentary biogenic silica increase in 1970 to 1975 interval. And also the Penitas Dam was constructed on the Grijava River in 1979 to 1986, and this is well matched with sedimentary biogenic silica increase in 1980 to 1985 interval. In the case of east side of the river mouth during the season with the high discharge and cross-shaft transport formation period, which is October to December, so the fresh water with the nutrient input become decreased after the dam construction, and that movement of water with the nutrient is west to east during this season. So the nutrient input to the east side of the river mouth become decreased after the dam construction. So the primary production and sedimentary biogenic silica can be also decreased after the dam construction. And these phenomena are also observed in the profile of the sedimentary biogenic silica. So IXW750A is located on the east side of the Papalopan River system, and Cerro de Oro Dam was constructed on the Papalopan River in 1973 to 1989, and it is matched with the increase of sedimentary biogenic silica in 1975 to 1980 interval. And also IXN750 is located at the east side of the Grijava River mouth. And continuing dam construction on the Grijava River was in 1969 to 1986, and it is well matched with the sedimentary biogenic silica decrease during the 1976, 1967, and 1989 interval. And IXW250A is located at the east side of the river mouth. And the Angostura Dam was constructed on the Grijava River in 1969 to 1974, and this is well matched with sedimentary biogenic silica decrease in 1973 to 1976. So the dam construction can be the potential mechanism to cause variation of the sedimentary biogenic silica. But in the case of the IXW250A, I found a huge increase of sedimentary biogenic silica in 1976 to 1981. This is 2.5 times increase, but the variation by the dam construction is around 68.7% based on this research. So it is expected that this 2.5 times increase is caused by different impact. So basically, it is expected to be a IXTOC-I oil spill in 1979 to 1980. This is because this period is included in 1976 to 1981. And also, the 2.5 times increase of the sedimentary biogenic silica in IXW250A is really similar to increase of biogenic silica after the Deepwater horizon oil spill in northern Gulf of Mexico. So after the Deepwater horizon oil spill, the sedimentary biogenic silica was increased up to 2.8 times associated with the MOSPA. So now I will talk about each site of the each research site of southern Gulf of Mexico has the proper environment to happen the MOSPA event or not. So first of all, as I talked, surface water mass on the outer shelf and continental shelf area is separated by the surface water current. And IXW750A and IXN750 is located at outer shelf, and IXW250A is located on the continental shelf. So the clay-sized mineral input is seasonally limited at the IXW750A and IXN750. And the IXW250A has annually high clay-sized mineral input. And also, the IXW250A case, the higher oil concentration was found at the area including IXW250A during the IXTOC-I oil spill. And primary production of this area is annually high because it is continental shelf. So it is expected that the IXW250A has the proper environment to happen MOSPA event. And also IXW750A, in the case of IXW50A, the high oil concentration was found in this triangle shaped area. And IXW750A is also included in this shaped area. So, but the high primary productivity season is not matched with the high oil concentration period. And also the primary productivity was decreased because of the dam construction on the Papaloapan rivers. So it is expected that IXW750A doesn't have a proper environment condition to happen the MOSPA event. And also IXN750 case, high oil concentration was found at area including IXN750 during the October to December, and high primary production is happened September to October. So these two periods is covered each other, but the primary productivity was decreased because of the dam construction on the Grijaba River in 1959 to 1986. And also, as I said, like clay-sized mineral input is limited to this area. So it is expected that I-50 is also doesn't have a suitable environment to happen the MOSPA event. So consequently, the surrounding environment of the IXW250A is suitable for happening MOSPA event, but not in IXW750A and IXN750. So the sedimentary biogenic silica can be increased in consistent with the IXTOC-I oil spill only at the IXW250A site. So consequently, if I compare to oil spill in southern Gulf of Mexico and northern Gulf of Mexico, so in the case of southern Gulf of Mexico and IXTOC-I oil spill, the only continental shelf area and closer to the wellhead shows the suitable environment for the happening MOSPA, but not at outer shelf. And in the case of northern Gulf of Mexico and Deepwater Horizon oil spill, the oil research site has sufficient primary productivity level and oil concentration, nutrient, clay size, and mineral input. So all research site was suitable for the MOSPA event, and it shows the increased value of a sedimentary biogenic silica during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill influenced period. So I can say MOSPA event can cause increases in sedimentary biogenic silica, and increases of sedimentary biogenic silica inside IXW250A is a consequence of MOSPA. So this is conclusion of topic 2. So sedimentary biogenic silica varies after the IXTOC-I oil spill and dam construction on the Grijaba River system and Papaloapan River system. Sedimentary biogenic silica was increased at the west side of the river mouth after the dam construction, and sedimentary biogenic silica was decreased at the east side of the river mouth after the dam construction. And also, sedimentary biogenic silica is increased after the IXTOC-I oil spill potentially caused by the MOSPA at the shelf area of southern Gulf of Mexico. So it is end of my presentation. So I want to say thank you again for my advisor and committee member. And I want to put everyone's name in this slide, but this time and space is not allowed to me. So I just want to say thank you so much to PaleoLab member to help improve my thesis writing and progress my research. Also, I am appreciate to all CMS friend and member to support me mentally and keep doing studying. Thank you.